Turn your on, turn your on.
Yes, I am. I am.
You are on?
No, I'm not. No, I am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, gosh, this doesn't fit.
Oh. Okay, you can turn it on now. And the countdown is on.
Oh, I've got to get a new seat. Larry, are you from
You're on
the Restoration Worship Center? Okay.
You're on 2 pillows now.
Yeah, they're not comfortable.
Oh, I'm on none. I'm in kindergarten. All right, Mayor.
I'll call the meeting to order. Do you have the roll call? And we'll have the invocation by Larry Blankenship representing the Restoration Worship Center. If you'll all stand.
Heavenly Father, we just thank you that we know you're here and that you're going to guide the decisions and the hearts of the people that serve this community. We thank you for them and we ask you to just make this a better place to be, a better place to live by their decisions, Lord. And we're going to turn it all over to you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Larry. And now we'll have the pledge led by our council president, Madeline Seymour. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the first item on the agenda is a hearing for a public hearing on nuisance abatement. Dana, Dan, whoever's,
I'll go ahead and do this since
Okay.
Richard is wearing his
oh, that's right, Richard
Yes.
wrote the report.
his minute taker hat, but
Okay,
he did a great job. So this is a property that's been a longstanding nuisance. I think folks are probably pretty well aware of it. Anyone that's driven by on 11th. It's been in a kind of communication nudging status for months and months and months and months. We do have money in the budget every year. $5,000 a year to clean up nuisance abatement. And we can place a lien on the property to recover the public's costs in doing that. The staff report lays out photos, lays out the whole sort of host of violations there. We can only guess why things are the way they are. But at the end of the day, we don't intend to spend any extra money on this. We're going to hire folks to do it the same as the property owner would at the same cost. So our recommendation is that we deny the appeal, declare the property a nuisance and authorize staff to abate the nuisance if it's not remediated within 10 days.
okay.
So there is an appeal. I don't know if anyone is here to speak on it, but that's the staff report.
Well, Mary Franson's not here. I know that. Oh, are you here to speak about that? Well, then you come up to the mic, please. And give your name.
I'm Sharon McClure and I'm a real estate agent here in town. I just recently listed a house on June and driving around the block. After I did comps for the property, I really feel that the whole area is really bad, and anything that you can do to improve the situation would really be good for my clients and for my business, because there's no way that the comps that house comes up with can make me price it at about 4.25. But with the condition of the general neighborhood, I don't even think it's going to sell at all, much less for that price. So anything that the city can do would be a lot of help. I just happened to notice that you were having a meeting about it, so I'm here.
Yes, and I own a house on the same street, it's a rental, and then I own a house on the other side of Indiana. So yes, I understand.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so do we make 3 different motions?
I
It's a recommendation. We
I'll look at the city attorney.
Give them the okay.
Do what Shayla said.
We'll show
I think that you can make two separate motions. You could declare the property a nuisance, and then the next motion, deny the appeal and authorize staff to abate.
Okay,
Seems like you could do it in two.
Thank you.
put it. Madam Mayor, I make a motion to declare the property is a nuisance.
Do I hear a second? Second. Been moved by Madeline, seconded by Jerry, that we declare the property a nuisance. All in favor?
Nobody's on Zoom? Oh, Josh is here. I didn't see him. Okay, Madam Mayor, I make a motion to deny the appeal. Authorize city staff to abate the nuisance in an amount not to exceed $5,000 if the property owner has not remediated the property within 10 days.
Second. Moved by Madeline, seconded by Jerry, that we authorize city staff to abate the nuisance in amount not to, deny the appeal and authorize city staff to abate the nuisance in an amount not to exceed 5,000 if the property owner has not remediated the property within 10 days. All in favor? Unanimous. Okay, under actions, the next item on the agenda is the appointment of a city councillor to replace Mr. Smith. And we have two names, Peter Braun and William Fry. It's Fry or Frey?
Right,
Frey?
right.
I'll never get that straight. Okay, Frey, like an A.
Yeah.
Okay, right, all right. And we've gotten some extensive resumes basically from both of them, and we know both of them well. They're both on the budget committee. Bill's on the CCI. Peter's a longtime counselor, so I just need to hear a motion.
Madam Mayor, I move to nominate Peter Braun to serve as a member of the Bandon City Council and serve the remainder of the four-year term ending on December 21st, 2024.
Second.
Been moved by Brian and seconded by Josh that we appoint Peter Braun to serve as a member of the city council ending on December 21st, 2024. So it's approximately a year and a half. All in favor? Unanimous. We're hoping, Bill, you'll know there's going to be two openings in a year and a half because I don't think Jerry's running and Brian's not running. So I wait till be prepared. At least somebody saw him at the library. All right, and now we're going to swear in Peter. So come up in front with June.
Peter, you want a picture?
Of course.
Do you want a picture?
Sure.
Do you want a picture?
I
Just get a picture.
Sure.
June wants it. Don't ask, just get.
just get,
So you can follow me.
sure.
Use your right hand, sir. You're in the right. I, Peter Braun,
I, Peter Braun,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution and laws
that I will support the Constitution and laws
of the state of
of
Oregon,
the state of Oregon,
the charter and the ordinance,
the charter and the ordinance
the city of Bandon,
of the city of Bandon,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of counselor
the duties of counselor
of the city of Bandon
of the city of Bandon
in the county of Coos,
in the county of Coos,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you, sir. You sign right there, please.
Oh, okay. Plaque. Oh, he's signed. Okay.
Could have it framed, huh?
I will bring it after you sign it.
We're done there.
There. We're good. I'll get it down to you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the beach access connector contract with Parametrics.
Do you want to take it? Want me to take it?
Yeah, explain this
Okay.
to us, please, for $100,000.
All right, so the city is currently under contract
through ODOT with parametrics for our transportation system plan update. A sort of side project or an offshoot of that transportation system plan is to look more specifically at a pathway that would connect our beach access points along Beach Loop Drive. And so we talked to them and asked them for a quote for what that would entail. From talking to them, it sounds like it is quite a bit of preliminary engineering work. We know that there are quite a few utility conflicts that we'll be looking at in the Beach Loop Drive area, as well as archaeology, and then potentially running into Johnson Creek or wetlands areas. So it is a rather large cost, but it seems like that's pretty normal for these sort of transportation projects. The total cost of the contract is $103,663, and we're requesting that you make a motion to award the contract to Parametrics. I think Dan probably, do you have more to say about it?
We talked about this briefly at the last council meeting. This is the level of work that probably needs to be done in order to get grants for the project itself. You'll note the name Beach Access Connector was chosen for a reason, because that allows us to tap into federal funds, federal land access program funds, ODOT funds. But until it's more than just an idea or a highlighter line on the map, and it's actually something that we know that we can do, and we know what it would look like after we've done the work, had the public outreach and figured it out, then I think we can go ahead and start to raise money. The source for this is dedicated tourism dollars.
Oh, okay.
I have a question. Would that include handicap easements for them or just from beach to beach?
Oh,
I apologize. It would have to comply with the ADA. However it ends up getting built. And there can be a lot of options, right? A paved gravel path with a poured curb separating it. It's unclear what it would look like, and those decisions will be yours to make later.
Thank you.
You bet.
okay, so this would not involve any of the work on the project. This is just consulting.
This is the engineering.
Engineering.
Where are the utilities? Where are the rights of way? Where are the easements? Which side of the road does it make sense to put it on? At which point, if you've got to cross the road, how and where do you do that? All of those sorts of things. So it's much more than just a kind of conceptual. This is actually getting down to the engineering of the project.
That's a good question. That's right. When you say it deals with the engineering, so we won't have to hire Dyer to do anything if we decide to do some of these projects then, right? Because the engineering's already done.
Well, this would be
Never say never.
preliminary.
Yeah, mostly correct. Dyer may consult because of some of their knowledge on some of this stuff, but this would not be a Dyer project. This would be an engineering level project. I don't know to what degree. And part of that may just depend on what options are chosen.
Now, when you say we're using tourism dollars for this, has anybody checked with Orla to see if it's,
With Orla,
yeah?
No.
That's okay. Maybe we should float that by, just in case. They seem to take great pleasure in finding projects that have been done with tourism dollars that are supposed to put heads in beds that aren't putting that and going back after them. So I really wouldn't want to find out we made a mistake on this and have to, come up with $100,000 on our own.
I would think that it would qualify because,
those have to go to tourism promotion or tourism related facilities being defined as essentially improved real estate. I think there are certainly projects that have been proposed that don't and wouldn't. I just think connecting our biggest hotels to each other and then to our access points, the viewpoints along Face Rock would qualify. I don't know what Orla would say.
Okay, well, North Bend, I thought they had a great idea. They wanted to do some
Yeah.
repaving up there so that the people could drive on them, and told them, no, you can't. Can't
Yeah.
use the money for that. And I thought that
Okay.
was a pretty good excuse.
Okay, Madam Mayor, I make a motion to award the contract to Parametrics.
Been moved by Madeline and seconded by Jerry to award the contract to Parametrics. All in favor, raise your hand. Opposed?
I'm going to abstain because I have no background in this.
Phew, that means I don't have to vote. Because I can't vote only in the case of a 3-3 tie. So you're abstaining.
Yeah,
So it doesn't pass.
Nope.
So I guess
Did
maybe,
did we get a roll call?
all right, Brian, oh, well, you can give the roll call.
3-2, I think.
It was 3-2.
4,
4,
did you go?
That's right. I just think we need a roll call
Right.
we need a roll call for the record.
all right.
For the vote, yes, I was.
No, but
No.
Brian,
No.
Nay.
Oh, I thought you said yes.
Jerry.
Yes,
Yes.
Madeline, okay.
Yes. No,
Abstaining.
well, that puts a 3-3.
So 3-2, is that, does that enough to pass?
No, it's 3.
I didn't think
Oh,
so.
yeah, 3-2. Yeah.
Okay.
3-2 is, yes.
No, it's not a majority of the council president.
Okay.
So
So I guess you can,
why don't we bring it back next month after Peter's had time to review it?
That would be wonderful. Thank
let's
you.
bring it back next month.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get a packet ahead of time because we didn't know the outcome, so.
Okay.
good
All right.
suggestion.
So we're gonna,
Okay, the next item on the agenda is 5.1.3 street and alley application.
Well, would you mind if I went back and asked a question? Since there wasn't much discussion, Councilor Powell asked, is it the source of funds that's the issue specifically, or the project? I'm just kind of looking at the no vote.
I don't know. It's like, we spent 60 grand in Old Town to do some study. We spent 50 grand to do a housing study. I mean, we're doing all this money on studies, but I don't want to get the study back saying, hey, guess what? There's a lot of spaces out there on Beach Loop that you can't, put a bike path or a walking path in on, because we've known that all along. So 100 grand on that seems like it's just pitching the money out the window. And I still think we should check with Orla to see if they would go after that. I mean, simple phone call to say, is this project good? I mean, I'm all for it, but everything I've always heard was heads and beds. And I don't see where, yes, it could be that, but I mean, it's mainly more for people here, I think, than actual tourists. I don't know.
What's this all, what's, you're saying Orla?
Yeah,
Orla.
Oregon Restaurant Lodging Association,
Thank
they're the
you,
ones they've become very active.
thank you.
And this is a recreational trail connecting the hotels to the beach accesses?
Well, it would run along Beach Loop. But you're talking about connecting Coquille Point, Face Rock, Tishatang, potentially South Jetty. So connecting these beach access points seems a better way to characterize the project than simply a path along Beach Loop Road.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
I got no problem with the
Yeah.
name. I really don't have too much problem. It would have been nice maybe if we had maybe reached out to the community to see if anybody might want to step up and do some of the stuff, kind of volunteer. There's a lot of people that are living here, they're retired, that might want to do something like that and save us 100 grand to boot.
See, I think that's, his point is, I think we have so many newcomers here with such a broad background of expertise, and we really never reach out to anybody to see if when we hire, some of these people to do these things like going down and looking at Old Town. If maybe we had people in the community could do it, and I think that's one of Chris's concerns.
They'd have to be civil engineers. I mean, it's
Well, in this
yeah.
case, yes, but now Lloyd's, I just happened to be walking, Lloyd's, Old Town. I just happened to be walking around Old Town the other day and I found dandelions this high. And when I pulled them, the dirt and the old cans and bottles and paper came out onto the sidewalk. I mean, it doesn't take a consultant to see the mess that are certain properties, and Lloyd's is a good example. So I wonder if we're paying money for visions, and yet we have on the spot things that we could do down there that we're not, maybe we need to start enforcement or something down there, because there's just some areas that are just terrible.
We understand that property is close to closing a sale.
Is it really?
A new buyer is is in negotiations
That would certainly be nice.
with a plan for I believe, three restaurants in that spot.
Okay,
That'll be nice.
that will be nice
Just to
then.
clean up the building will be great.
All right, so this
Right.
will come back on the agenda
Okay.
next month, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. And please answer Chris's question so I don't have to be a 3-3 voter.
Oh, okay.
I hate that. All right, the next item is the street and alley application.
Sorry.
Come back.
All right, so this was a request. We have a current application in the planning department for the Bandon Coastal subdivision, which is essentially phase 2 of the Seabird subdivision, but reimagined and with different ownership. But in that same area, in that original Seabird subdivision, there was a sort of alley access way. None of us are quite sure what it was intended for, but it runs along the back of some properties. And I think it was intended to continue on into that phase 2 subdivision. It did not continue on, or they don't intend to continue it. We have no problem with that. And there's a little sort of hammerhead that they had to put in that they now would like to vacate as part of this new subdivision process. So the ORS says that the council has to review the application and make a determination as to whether or not they would like to hold a hearing for the street vacation itself. So, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to finish up by saying there's an image right in that, right if you turn the page with a red circle around it that shows you that small area that they're requesting to vacate. At the next meeting, we'll have the actual plat and description of that property for you.
Why was the hammerhead put in?
I think to continue that sort of access way in the next phase 2. But they ended up selling the property, and so it's now under different ownership.
Aren't hammerheads usually for
Fire.
fire protection?
Yeah, that's why I asked.
Yeah, and I think they did that because well, I think they wanted to continue it up, and then perhaps they needed a fire turnaround in that area. We can check on that. I don't think they'll have any problem turning, but we can find out. Tim has reviewed this as well
Okay.
and did not have any comment, but
Okay, Madam
Okay.
Mayor, I make a motion to pass to hearing on August 7th, 2023 at the city council meeting.
Second, it's been moved by Madeline, seconded by Jerry to pass the issue into a hearing on August 7th council meeting. All in favor? Unanimous.
thank you.
Okay, the reason a lot of people are here is next, the library district allocation. Christine?
All right, thank you so much for having me tonight. I just wanted to update you on where we are in the library funding allocation revision. Okay. Okay, you can go to the next slide. Okay, next slide, please, June. That's okay. Okay, great. So currently a new allocation formula and transition option is under review by the Coos County Library Board Allocation Committee. This is in review only and no decisions have been made at this time. The committee will end up providing a recommendation to the Coos County Library Board on what they think we should do with the formula. And the goal is to start the new formula next year. So next slide, please. Currently, each library receives a percentage of funding after the extended services outreach budget. So ESO gets their portion, and then the rest of it is distributed among the libraries based on a percentage. The Coos County Library Board has been aware of the need to revise the formula for over 20 years. So this has been in the process off and on for many, many years. And the board has requested that library statistics be used in order to create a new formula. Next slide, please. This next slide is an example of, based on the statistics that we're looking at, this is what Bandon would receive in fiscal year 23-24 if we went on statistics only. So you can see in the yellow for Bandon, that would be 591 would be our allocation next year if we just went on fair statistics across the board. This year, we're going to be receiving fiscal year 22-23 about 420, 430. So you can see it's quite a large difference between the two. Next slide, please. Okay, the new formula and base proposal that is currently under review. So they're looking at statistics and then also adding some new criteria, which would be a base. So the new formula is based on statistics, library statistics of 25% population and 75% usage. So Bandon has high usage and our stats are very high when it comes to that. And in this new proposal, there will be a base for Dora and Powers. There are two small libraries just to keep them in operation. In addition to the formula, there would also be a base for the large libraries of Coos Bay and North Bend of 0.03. This would come from the total distribution to the libraries so that they would have their regular allocation and then a base on top of it. And this is really in the proposal just to keep them as close as possible to the funding that they're currently receiving. What I really would like people to understand is if a base is added, it does impact the mid-sized libraries. So funding for Bandon, Coquille, Myrtle Point, and Lakeside is reduced if we have a base for Coos Bay and North Bend. So whether or not that's adopted, I think it's important that people understand that that's how it's being calculated, should they take this proposition. So next slide, please. Okay. This is just an example to show you the very top box. The circle at the top would show you what we would be receiving based on statistics only. And then the bottom box where it's circled shows you what we would be receiving if we do have a base for Coos Bay and North Bend. And that's ongoing every year. It would be that amount and a little bit more each year that we would be putting back into the pie, and also Coquille, Myrtle Point, and Lakeside. So I just think it's important that people understand that that's what that is. Next slide, please. Overall, I think it's good that they are moving into a formula based on statistics. My only concern would be just how the base impacts that. The transition option that is currently under review by the committee would be a 3 to 4 year transition starting next year, fiscal year 24-25. The current proposal is that the underfunded libraries would be helping the overfunded libraries through the transition. So Bandon and Lakeside would be providing funds to Coquille and Myrtle Point. And just as an example, the first year, Bandon would be providing 15% of their new funding to Coquille, which is $83,000, a little more than that. And then the second year, 10%, which is $56,000. And then the third year, 5%. So each year it goes down a little bit. The argument in favor of this transition is that Bandon's receiving an increase and there needs to be a transition time to help the libraries that have been overfunded, that are going to be losing funding, of Coquille and Myrtle Point being two of them. So next slide, please. So this kind of shows you how this impacts our budget. So in the center in the yellow, we would be getting, should we just have the statistics and a base for the large libraries, we would be getting $553,000 in next year, fiscal year 24-25. And according to this proposition, it would give us 470 with 83,000 coming to Coquille. So this just kind of shows you how much we would be, what our revenue would be, and then down below what our costs are, and that we would be short, coming up short. Staffing is our biggest expense. And the gold box is just the following year. So you can see there's an impact going forward. Should we go with this proposal? Okay, next slide, please. Just kind of to wrap it up here, years of overfunding, years of underfunding has impacted Bandon, and Bandon is in need of more funding now just to cover basic costs and help keep the current staff that we have. We have 5 staff members total. I do support a reasonable percentage of our funding going to help Coquille through the transition, but we do need to get a certain amount so that we can get through this transition as well. Additionally, I've proposed that collectively Bandon, Lakeside, Coos Bay, and North Bend help Coquille and Myrtle Point during the transition. So everyone is part of the help here. This can be done with a temporary base for Coquille and Myrtle Point just during the transition, and by cutting back on non-essential shared services that are provided through ESO. So these are some things that I've suggested that would help us kind of get to where we need to be and also help those libraries through the transition that they're currently not being looked at. So that's kind of where we are right now.
Okay.
So you're saying Coquille and North and Myrtle Point have been overfunded for
Right.
many years?
According to, yes, if you look at the statistics, like we've put together statistics to kind of see, yes, yes.
But, so they've been overfunded, so now they're not gonna be overfunded, but now we have to subsidize them. That
In-
is not
yeah.
fair.
in 4 years,
Sorry,
Yeah.
that doesn't make sense to me.
in 4 years, they would be getting a decrease, so it would incrementally go down. They're just using some of our funds during the transition to help them through. So eventually they would be getting to where they should be. And eventually we'll be getting to where we should be. It's just a 4 or 5 year issue.
Even though we lose money every year, and Coquille and Myrtle Point probably don't because they've been overfunded, we still have to help them.
But
Right.
Coos Bay and North Bend aren't part of assisting in the transition?
That's correct,
Well, that's where the stickler is here.
right?
I mean, there's the problem.
Yeah,
Because they are the largest funded libraries and they have that extra percentage or part of a percent. But I will tell you that I talked both to John Sweet and Bob Main personally. I know them very well. And they say they have a complete hands-off approach when it comes to the library, that they let all the decisions be made by the library board. So that we are, that's an uphill battle if you can't. And I don't know that anybody's talked to Rob Taylor. He does live in Bandon and maybe he would assist us. I don't know, but I
Mhm.
begged John and they just said, we just have a hands-off policy, even though they oversee
right,
So you say that this is just the proposed.
exactly, yes.
When are they gonna make a decision? I think you came to us
Yeah,
late last
Right,
year with
right.
this same thing.
I think that they're close within the next couple of months of probably coming to a decision. This is just happens to be the proposal that's really being looked at by the allocation committee the most. And so I kind of think they're going to lean this direction. So I just want basically you to know how it's being calculated, what they're looking at, how this impacts us, so that everyone's fully aware going forward.
And we weren't able to get you or anybody from Bannon on the allocation
No.
board. Of course not.
I think the question is, a question to ask for the Bandon community to ask itself is, how would the county commissioners react to public pressure? It's easy for them to just say, well, we're handing this off. Well, they're the governing body for the library district.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's their decisions to make. I came from a county that was like Coos County. We ran the library district. We had city councilors and citizens talking to our board of commissioners on a weekly basis about various, and it was obviously a, bigger it was a bigger district. But it made a difference. And right now, I think it is an easy thing for them to simply say, well, we're handing this off.
Mhm.
And North Bend and Coos Bay, who get the base because they're North Bend and Coos Bay.
Yeah.
No reason other than that we can tell.
Yeah.
I guess they think they need additional security. That's the only argument I've heard. But it's like you have kids and one of them gets more allowance than the other unfairly, and you say, well, sorry, we've been sticking it to you for years, but your brother's gotten used to having that money. So 4 years from now, it'll be the same, but really, he buys a new Nintendo every 6 months, and it'd harm him if we made things fair, but it'll be fair in 4 years.
But
Well, plus North Bend and Coos Bay, we're looking at it on top of their base, 3%.
So they would be getting the normal allocation based on statistics, like
Yeah.
population usage.
Plus 3%.
Plus, yes. So,
see, maybe we should start putting pressure on the people that are actually making the decisions.
Well, I think the people making the decisions would probably, my guess is, and maybe I'm overstepping my role here. But at the end of the day, this is the Board of County Commissioners' responsibility.
Okay, well,
They're the ultimate decision maker. And to the extent that the Bandon community allows them to simply duck that by saying, well, we're hands off. I think people who vote for them.
good, I'll let you
Well,
call Bob
good.
Main.
Don't call.
well,
Show up at the next meeting.
I-
Yeah, they got public comment.
It's public comment, and when we went through this in Clackamas, it was the public comment sessions and it turned the tide because then they've got to respond publicly. They either sit there and look like lumps on a log and say nothing, or they respond publicly. And usually the first response, well, we'll look into it.
Okay, except I'm trying to be realistic here.
Okay,
There is nowhere to, nobody covers the meetings. So the public, where the world used to be, or the Western world, that's not here anymore. So I think we need to have a different game plan that maybe we all need to be proposing to the people that are making the decisions that North Bend and Coos Bay pay a share of their revenues to help with these through the transition. I
They
think
don't
that.
care.
Hmm?
They don't care.
No,
You
they
can
don't.
Get 75
They don't.
to 100 people over here to go over to the courthouse and they're having their meeting and fill. Remember when we did the thing about the pit bull? How it was out, it was.
Oh,
up
my
both
God,
the-
yes.
Holy cow, they were everywhere. I mean, that's the way you get something done. I mean,
Okay,
going to the board that, I mean, hey, we're not gonna listen, the county commissioner's not gonna do anything to this. Why do we have to listen? to you?
okay, but it wasn't the county commissioners that kept her off of the allocation committee, I'm pretty sure. Was it?
Right.
They didn't do anything about it.
They probably don't even know about it. I'm telling you, there's a
Well,
difference
then that's-
between
that's another-
reality and what you're. What.
Well, you're going, that's another
dreaming.
path you're going down that should.
Well, maybe the library board could start spreading the word.
Mhm. And they've been very supportive.
Okay, yeah, but I
Mhm.
mean, spread the word to your patrons that
Mhm.
come in the library, just let them know what's going on and we're gonna be underfunded and we have to help Coquille and Myrtle Point because they've been overfunded for so many years.
Mhm.
And is it
So-
purely just by choice that Coos Bay and North Bend are exempt in helping during this transition time to fund?
That's strange.
It's part of the proposal that, that they've,
We've been shortchanged all these years and we're still willing to
Mhm.
allocate, to do a 4-year transition financially
right.
to help that burden, and they're
Mhm.
still not going to help in that cause.
Right.
And the majority of the allocation board, I'm sure is Coos Bay. and
That's
Bend.
exactly my next question. Who are the members of the allocation board?
Okay, well,
The
we have-
library board?
yeah, the library board, I can't tell you everyone that's on that one, but the allocation committee.
Yeah.
So the North Bend Library Director is on that committee. And she's really been doing most of the formulas. And then we have two representatives from the board that are on there that represent smaller libraries. And then we have a community member also on that board, on the allocation committee.
When you say represents the smaller libraries,
Mhm.
which which libraries have those people on the allocation?
So I believe, so I'm sorry, one of the, I take that back. One of the people that are on the board that are on the allocation committee is a large library representative. And then one that's Bandon, Dora, the mid-sized libraries, smaller libraries representative. And then the one that's the community member, she's also the smaller libraries. I think it's Dora. Can help me.
Who's
Yeah.
representing Bandon?
Kathy. So Kathy's on that, is on
I
that
was gonna ask.
committee.
So.
Come up here, Kathy, so we can record it.
All right.
So I represent Bandon, Coquille, Myrtle Point, Lakeside, Dora, and Powers.
Okay.
So
pal.
you represent the middle and the medium and the small one.
There's only 2 areas. The problem right now that I see is Bandon isn't a big library, but it isn't also a small library. They still have us on like money wise, what size the old library was. If some of you can remember the old library.
Yeah, absolutely.
But now we're in this much bigger building. And the main problem with the budget is the staff figures are going up like 60 to 80,000 a year. Between wages, health insurance, what's the other one, PERS?
You're talking about our staff in Bandon.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Just a minute.
It's on that one
Just a
chart
minute.
that she had up.
Just a minute. Mary, they've already made the decision. So we asked if anybody was here to represent you, and so you're gonna have to get it cleaned up. So I imagine you can talk to somebody from the city tomorrow, okay?
You have the paperwork, what they decided or anything?
She'll have it tomorrow, Mary. Okay? Go away, I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
So the deal is, so I'm on the Coos County Library Board, and then I volunteered to be on the allocation committee. And actually, Coos County Library Board has had someone from Bandon for the last 20 years, I think. And the idea of making the formula more fair has been around since the late 1990s.
Yeah.
But it always has failed. And Haley actually said the last meeting that until 2019, when the state recognized that the budgets could be created around statistics and population.
Population and. use.
Yes,
Right.
that they even had anything to guide them. It was always, Haley wasn't here. She's new to the area, maybe 8 years. The problem has been, there's been nobody wanting to push this,
Right, I can see. that.
including people from Bandon, the directors from Bandon. This is the first director we've had that has stood up for this. Now, the total results is all the directors have to sign off on this. You know, my allocation committee can suggest, say, yes, we like this plan. And then we'll take it to the Coos County Library Board and they go, oh, yes, this is great. But how are the directors in the cities going to react? Now, the one that she put up is the first one out of maybe 13 that seems to be the fairest.
Okay.
And in order for Bandon to gain, then Oak Hill and Myrtle Point, keep poking me, has to take a step down. Myrtle Point's very willing. She says, whatever, I'm given, I will work with it. And as we know, Coke Hill's been overfunded for years. And the only reason I can think is they are the county seat. It's very frustrating. And the meetings are exhausting. And we've been doing this seriously since March.
Okay, let me ask you a question. The allocation committee is just advisory to the Coos County Library Board, right?
Yes, and they're all from the Coos County Library Board.
Okay,
Christine actually suggested we go outside and bring in somebody, but that, the directors all said, no, thank you.
I don't know, guys.
There's the fox spotting the hen house.
Oh,
So actually,
Oh,
North
yeah.
Bend is giving up a little bit of money. Yeah, I mean, it comes through. Another thing is the pandemic. The pandemic really knocked the wind out of my sails because the numbers would have been much bigger if the pandemic had never happened. And so what the whole county is getting in the next 3 years is different.
Is less?
Yes, a lot less. And right now, all the libraries have had to cut staff. And right now, I can't remember what I was gonna say, but
Well,
it's
yeah,
just a real pickle we're all in. But if we don't take, as it stands now, we'll be making more than 50,000 a year. It's not enough here in Bandon, but it's something. And by the end, as Dan said, we will have the money we should have. It takes time to reach that transition.
Okay,
Now, you just said we're making 50,000. I'm showing 50,000 in the red on what we've been given.
Well, so right now, Bandon Library gets approximately, let's say, 420.
Yeah.
And I think they are gonna get 470.
Yeah, but we got to give 83 to Coquille.
That's after that.
this is,
So the deal is,
470.
so you're missing the point. Staff has gone up. why she's in the red is for staff.
No, I know, but you just made a comment that we were making 50,000 a year, which
We are,
You are,
from
don't show it.
well, if you actually look at, study this page,
which page are we on, Kathy?
I've spent hours studying these things
Which page?
and,
Where does it say that we? We're not numbered, so I'm not sure.
the revenue is 418 for 2022-23. And that's proposed. Also, we're working in a very abstract way of not really knowing how much money we're getting. And so it's proposed that we will get 418 again, 2023-24. And let's see. This is what it would be. Yeah, so when it starts in 2023-24 is already done.
Okay,
So 2024-25, they're getting, is it this number?
470.
470
okay,
versus 418.
okay.
Yeah.
The reason why she's in the red is because staff keeps going up between 60 and 80,000.
I gotta take issue with that. Everyone's staff goes up, the revenue goes up. You can't simply blame the fact that someone's in the red on the expense side because it's also on the revenue side,
Well,
correct?
but how,
But when you're underfunded revenue side, you just can't keep up.
If these numbers are correct, then there's no way you're going to convince me that our library is making money.
It's gonna what?
There's no way you can convince me that our library is making money at the figures that I am looking at.
So I think what she's trying.
I don't care about staff's payroll. It's an ongoing thing. You have to have staff, or you don't have a library.
That's
Whether they get
correct.
raised every year or not, that's just part of the budget. So if that's part of the budget and it goes on, you're still showing a loss.
has there been staff added?
No.
There's been no staff
No, I
added.
know.
So I think on this page, she's trying to avoid letting someone go.
Okay,
So the red part, I think, if she lets somebody go, would be like on a 0.
okay,
But she's trying to make the point, and Christine is, that there are actual impacts to Bandon from the slow transition,
mm-hmm,
right? We are now getting $170,000 a year less than we should be getting if the decision were simply based on population and usage.
mm-hmm.
I know you know this. Her point was to say they want this slow transition, telling Bandon, well, gosh, you should be happy, you're getting more money. We're still not getting what we should be getting this year.
We're still getting more money.
We're still getting more money, but
Okay.
what Christine is showing is that the transition, the way it's working, will cause us to lay off staff. I think Bandon's position should be the transition needs to happen faster and everyone should share in the pain,
Right,
not just Bandon, but they have this notion that Bandon, gosh, Bandon, you're gonna be doing better.
yeah, 4 years from now.
And a little better next year. So you should be happy that you're only gonna have to be getting less allowance than your brother for the next 5 years.
As far as I'm
But we-
concerned, North Bend and Coos Bay need to give up 1% of their 3%
We have
and
no,
spread it out.
I'm sorry, we have no control over the allocation committee or the library decision, the board decision right now. So that's a wonderful proposition. Yes, I think we should transition quicker, but how do we change that?
That's what the community, I think Councilor Powell, so I can just speak from my experience in a county. That the advocacy during the public comment sessions at public meetings makes, if anything's going to make a difference, that's going to make a difference. Christine has pushed the ball as far as she can. We can decide that we're okay with it. I think we either decide that we're okay with it or the community advocates politically to the county. The Board of Commissioners need to be reminded that they are the deciders. At the end of the day, They are the deciders, and what we're going to ask them for would be, let's share the pain and speed up the transition. We can decide not to do that, in which case we're done. We will be laying off staff and shutting out and cutting hours at the library.
Right.
Okay, what I'm gonna suggest is that somebody, you or.
An ad hoc committee, maybe Friends of the Library would be interested in taking this on. We'll all support it and do what we can,
Well-
be involved in it. But
What I'm suggesting is we need a concrete message that we all, if we're going to talk to the county commissioners, we need to know what we're talking about. And we need these two to put together a very succinct letter with our position and why we feel that Coos Bay and North Bend should be part of this transition. And then whether we send letters, we could all send letters to the Board of Commissioners. We can go to the meetings, although right now the meetings are, one of them wears a gun and another person from Bandon goes, and they have huge rabble rousing, terrible situations there. So I think letters and, urge everybody that uses the library, have a template letter, or you could have 3 or 4 different letters that would say different things, but always get our point across and ask people who come to the library, if you value the services that we now provide, here is a letter that we would like you to send, and here is who to send it to. Because most people on the street would not have a clue who the county commissioners were. I mean, people are so uneducated politically, and a lot of it is because we don't have a newspaper. So that's my suggestion.
I just want to say North Bend is taking a cut,
Okay.
and
They should have taken one 20 years ago.
I agree, and there was a different director, I live here in Bandon, I side with Bandon. I have to be a little bit more, balanced on
Yeah,
this
for sure.
committee.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh, so if she says, I'm not doing it, then it all goes away. She doesn't get the 50,000 extra the first year and 70 or 80,000 the second year, and on and on. Or if you rattle Coos Bay's cage, they go, I'm done, I'm out of here. And that's kind of it's you're walking a fine line. And we're getting really close to everybody being happy. And if I was the director, I would take the 50,000, to get it going. Take what they're offering and get it going. But I'm not, and I'm happy that she's arguing.
But see, we're having 2 different viewpoints here.
Mhm.
You're on the library board, but aren't you on the Bandon Library Board also?
No,
Oh, you're not?
no, I had to resign.
Okay, you were.
You
All right.
remember
So
that
we're
email?
basically getting 2 different positions here.
So Sherry is on the library board. She's the head of the library board.
Well, I think you need to put together our position. And maybe Kathy will be one of the ones we send it to, who knows? But yeah, I think we need our position put together very clearly so that we understand. Because people will send letters. I'm often, as mayor, asked by all sorts of organizations to support their causes, but they have to provide me with a template letter, and then I type it in, city abandoned, and sign it. Because it's too confusing for the average person, and even in this room after the presentation, to really put together something that will get our message across and that we're all correct. So I think that's what we need to do. Dan, are you willing to help do that?
And the sooner the better.
And that's a great idea. Thank you for suggesting that and helping.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
I look
Thank you
forward to
very
seeing-
much for both of you.
Forward to seeing the templates.
Okay, where's my agenda? Oh,
I don't know.
I'm writing on the back of it.
Oh,
All right,
got a resolution.
resolution number 23-20, a resolution establishing hiring standards, criteria, policy, directives, and timeline for the recruitment and hiring of the city manager for the city of Bandon. As you all know, or you may not know, our city manager is retiring, and we're in the process of looking for a new city manager, and it's not an easy task. We've already figured that one out. Very hard. So what's the,
Do anything or
Okay.
just make motion? Madam Mayor, I make a motion to accept resolution 23-20, establishing hiring standards, criteria, policy directives, and a timeline for the recruitment and hiring of the city manager for the city of city of
Second.
Bandon, Oregon.
Who seconded it?
Almost said hi.
Chris? All right, Madeline made the motion and Chris seconded it to accept resolution 2320. All in favor? Okay. Resolution 2321, adopting the planning department work program for fiscal year 2324. Dana?
This is a quick one. This is just the conversation that you all had with the planning commission back in, I think, June. Or maybe it's May, discussing the priorities for the planning department over the next year. We've put those into that same format and just gotten rid of everything else. So this is what we intend to work on over the next fiscal year. And we wanted to get it on paper so that we're all aware of what we're agreeing to.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve resolution 23-21, adopting the planning department work program for fiscal year 23-24.
Second.
Then moved by Madeline, seconded by Josh, that we approve resolution 23-21. All in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Okay, ordinance, oh, there are no ordinances. Consent agenda. Is there anything in any here that anybody wants to have?
Yeah, I have a question on 6.3.4, the green one.
6.3.4.
Yes.
Wait a minute. Okay. Oh, 4?
That's what it says, 6.3.4.
Your next one right there, I think, no,
No.
Avery,
The
I'm a-
community calendar.
Community Center.
no, it's on the Barn Community Center,
Okay, well, maybe I got it.
single page.
Go ahead.
One page.
There you go.
Oh, here I found it finally. Sorry. All right, what's the problem?
It's a very nice report, but how do we find out what the prices are?
Well, revenue? You want to know what the revenue is generating?
Yeah,
Yes.
I know how much they're going for. Yeah.
Have we ever, I don't know that our
We-
reports have ever
we're not
had that, have
entitled
they?
to have that, we're not entitled to have that.
I don't know, ask Dan.
Okay, it's all right if we're not.
I don't think the reports have ever,
If they haven't.
I don't
have
remember
ever,
seeing.
have ever done that.
All
but-
right. Thank you, that's all.
Okay, anything else?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Been moved by Peter, seconded by Josh to approve the consent agenda. All in favor? Unanimous. Public comment. Public's, oh, John, come on up and then I'll tell you what we're gonna do. I
Yeah.
should have called you, but I'm trying to hire a new city manager. I don't have time to.
Oh,
And the crows are sitting on my yard squawking. I think we're going to have a workshop in the next little while, but we need to get it out so that the people know that we're going to be discussing it because
Yep.
this is a hot button issue, as you saw the last time.
Yep.
I don't know who the man was that feeds crows in the city park, but he got upset. And so we want people to know that we're going to be discussing it. So we're working on it, okay?
Okay,
John, I'm in agreement with you. The crows have taken over my whole area of where I live
Mine too.
and nobody's feeding them.
Well, the people in a block or two down from where you are probably are.
No,
No?
I've checked with everybody.
Well, the whole population's being greatly increased
course
by
they are.
people
Pete-
in the general abandoned area feeding them.
More food, more birds.
Yep. So we have a guy here from the Shooting Star
Oh,
who goes buys about 15, 25 chickens every single day at 4 o'clock.
I know.
That's to go with
His
this
car.
town sacks of,
And the crows
of
are out there
feed.
messing all over the cars out there and following him down the street. So, you know,
Same
we gotta
thing.
figure something out. The
Same
other
thing
cities are
happening
doing other
on Fillmore.
things to abate this problem. Sacramento's doing, they're hiring birds of prey, people to go around with hawks to actually go after the crows. They're doing that in
I'm
Sacramento.
in. Want a bird of prey, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right,
Hawk.
John, I just want you to know.
I like to have about 10 in my neighborhood right now.
Sunnyvale's using green lasers to deter them. So anyway, I wish we would just take measures to put this
We're-
back on the books.
We
And
are, we're
We're going
working on
to.
it. I asked Dan today.
I wish it would happen a lot sooner.
I know, I understand, because they're really, they're in my backyard now and they never have been before, so I know I hate them too.
I know I have an old truck, but you should see it. It's just splattered.
Okay, somebody in the back wants to
Okay.
talk. Thank you, John.
Okay.
Yes, come on up.
I hate crows too. And I got from Amazon.
Wait, don't start talking until you get up here to the mic.
Lorraine Pool.
Okay.
Okay,
Lorraine.
so Lorraine Pool. Yep. I went to Amazon and I got a couple of little cap shooters, cap guns, and those crows think I'm shooting at them. You'd probably want to notify your neighbors that you're not shooting a gun, a real gun. But you shoot those little guns and,
Really?
yeah.
But do they
So
keep
try-
coming?
There's where they're coming from, John.
They're migrating from her house to yours.
No, I appreciate, I know what you're talking about. I mean, it's.
Yeah.
And besides, and then the turkeys, I had a turkey and two little turkeys on my, just ready to jump into my backyard the other day. And I'm over there screaming at them and they go on the neighbor's roof and then they do. We're getting inundated with farm animals or whatever these things
I
are.
saw 3 turkeys going to the library.
Yeah, and the turkeys are everywhere. We somehow, I don't know how they happen, but anyway, thank you, Lorraine.
Yeah, thanks, Lorraine.
Anybody else want to address the council? If not, don't tell me that's it. That's it. Is that it?
That's it.
All right. Oh, wait, no, other council mayor staff remarks. It's all by itself on this, the top of the page.
Okay.
I can't change the page. Brian? Oh, no. Dana? Shayla? Dan?
Quick ones, we concluded our negotiations with the IBEW today, so we'll likely be talking about that at our next, our next executive session. We are trying to get a new a new truck for the sewer plant. Ours died. It only had 2.2 million miles on it, so we're not really sure why it died. But those trucks are hard to come by. Anyway, we're working on it, and it may, this is the reason I need to bring it up to you is we will likely use those ARPA rescue plan funds to buy the truck rather than supporting affordable housing, because we've got no choice.
Okay,
Everybody goes and has to go somewhere, so.
Yep.
okay. Brian?
Dan, a while back, you mentioned Jim Uravish came up with a great idea on the clarifier. Can you give us an update on that? Or are we still stuck at $1 million foundation?
We are gonna have a bid from them, I think, by next week. They've come out and looked at it. It's a really neat thing. There was a code change that added $1 million to the cost of our desperately needed new clarifier at the water plant. Jim, our water plant operator, was at a conference and ran into some folks who have a different method where they will actually they spray epoxy grout on the inside and wrap the outside in metal and put more concrete on it. So anyway, they can reinforce it and it's hopefully going to be much less expensive than this other solution. So good news and really good work by him for thinking out of the box and getting that
Good.
moving.
Didn't you have that in the newsletter?
I did.
Yes, read your newsletter.
Don't throw it away like Chris.
I read it all the time.
Jerry, you're up. Oh, no, did we ask? Oh, Brian's through.
Brian,
No,
That's it.
Only one.
Just give the guys up
Only
there
one.
a boy for that.
well, I saw the fireworks, what little I could see when the fog rolled in, but did Anthony do them this year?
Yes, he did.
It was still nice.
Did anyone?
Did Anthony
Anthony
do
do the
them?
fireworks.
That's all. Nice.
So were different areas of the town more impacted, I wonder, by the fog?
I
Yeah.
could see him fine from my house.
Because I was up not too far from your house and they did have a kind of, toward the end.
Yeah.
It had a lot of black line and there
Yeah.
were some beautiful up here and then beautiful down here. It just kind of added to the ambiance.
I just want to say how great every one of our supervisors is, plus our crews. All they do is think outside the box on a daily basis. Something breaks and they find a Band-Aid. Because we can't get anything right away, as we all know. So I just want to make a public statement that I think they're doing a great job and I really appreciate them. And 4th of July sounded like it was really good. I wasn't at the parade, you were. Saw the fireworks. And how are the boat races? Somebody talk about the boat races,
Did
please.
you win the boat races?
Again.
Yes, I did.
You did,
Yeah.
and I
But
missed it.
I read.
I didn't race this year. I'm retired from the ranks
you
of the
didn't race, it was your
cardboard
boat.
boat racing, but my boat did take first place and
Oh.
best in show.
Who rode?
Mark Pressler, he's 24,
Oh,
buck
Dr.
40
Pressler's-
soaking away. Yeah, Dr.
Dr.
Pressler's
Pressler's son.
decent sized guns. But I hired a jockey this year.
All right.
It was a fix.
It was a fit.
Far from a fix.
Yeah, that what Josh said.
I will say it was a great 4th of July and the fireworks this year, they were 25 minutes long and 2
Yeah.
years ago, because I recorded both of them, 2 years ago, it was 10.5 minutes. So it was 2.5 times what, so I was, even though the fog, didn't certainly obliterate them like a
No.
few years ago, they started shooting, and the only way you could tell was the bang. You could not tell at all. You couldn't see anything. So finally they stopped because they were just shooting thousands of dollars up into the air. So the fog didn't come in until right late, kind of late in the fireworks. I just have a question, on the planning document, it said to go to the website to look at that. I printed out the new hotel, the layout for the new hotel. Now, is it true that all of our Alabama parking lot here, is that all going to go towards satisfying their parking?
Do you want to
I want to hear it from them.
So won't, they have enough parking on their own site to meet their requirement?
Which is what?
One space for every 2 rooms because they're
That's
a
what I thought.
hotel.
So they've only got like 40 some rooms.
Yeah.
And if they've got 85 people staying there, they're gonna have 85 cars, and then they're going to be taking up parking on Alabama Avenue.
So not necessarily. I mean, I think we've talked to them and they've said they're interested in shuttling in a lot of people. Their clientele is probably going to be a lot of folks out at Bandon Dunes, who will not come in with a personal vehicle.
That would be good.
The other part of the conversation that we've had with them is they could potentially take over the maintenance of the Alabama parking lot, sign it specifically for public parking, but allow that to be a sort of, like
Overflow.
for hotel guests or overflow for the public. It also, doing that reduces the number of pedestrian conflicts. So you don't have just driveway and then driveway. It would just be one driveway into the whole big parking lot.
I can see it now on big weekends.
Well, with the gravel lot gone.
All hotels.
And then the
parking lot.
Alabama Avenue lot gone, I could
Mhm.
see, it's already a disaster. It's hard. Eventually, people are gonna be using our parking lot more and more because unless they want to just drive on through town, there's got many. And then are we going to develop the parking lots here?
Is that in the
Where
near
the,
future?
where the flashing crosswalk is,
We can put that in a work plan. I think that our plan was to see what happened with the new lot that we just built. Obviously on the 4th of July, it was full. Other than that, it ends up being just used by people, parking giant RVs in their crossways,
Going to the
taking up 6
station
or 7
for-
spaces.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a possibility. I think what we would likely do is when the crosswalk is finished, we'll just gravel it.
okay.
And we can gravel it and sign it. We've still got a better signage on the parking lot that we paid
Right.
for and built. It needs better signage from both directions.
Yeah.
We're also been thinking, I apologize for going out of turn. I meant to mention this. We're thinking about bringing to you something rather than a trolley, which is a bus that looks like a streetcar. Just get a bus. A small ADA compliant bus, like a short bus, have it wrapped or painted in abandoned theme and use that for the shuttle, because otherwise that's something we can do fairly cheaply and fairly quickly. Otherwise, we're talking about sending somebody to Virginia to buy a used bus and a used trolley, and hopefully, which is a bus with,
Why can't we put it on a truck?
that would cost,
Well, yeah,
yeah.
Drive it around on a flatbed truck?
bring it out here from Virginia.
Oh, I thought you meant, okay, got ya.
We could even put it on in a railroad car if we wanted to.
Well,
I can see when the construction fencing goes up down there and they start breaking ground. That
It's
we're
gonna
gonna
be-
see a huge difference on people being able to park in Old
It's
Town.
gonna be a
There's not gonna
disaster
Any
because
parking lot at all.
right now for the port building or Lori's building, the gravel lot is still available. I mean, it may not be really available, but it's there and people are parking
Oh,
there.
yeah, they are.
And when that's gone and Alabama is overflowed,
We're done.
I'm gonna change my name, okay? And I'm gonna have it dyed my hair blonde because I don't want to be responsible for because people are not gonna be happy. And that's all I have to say. I think I've said enough. Peter,
Nope.
Josh,
Welcome back, Peter.
welcome back.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, right. Probably 5 minutes, they'll be swearing at us, but
I think it's Public Works. They run the street sweeper, right?
Yes,
Okay, I was really highly disappointed with the people that were in town because they left a bunch of crap everywhere. Tuesday or, whatever morning it was, not all run together.
Wednesday
Whatever, the
morning.
day after the 4th when I went in, there was crap everywhere, but about 6:45, the street sweeper was running out. He usually only comes out on Fridays, but he was going up and down, picking all that stuff up and made it look like nothing had happened.
that's good to know.
That's good to know.
Yeah. But it was kind of disheartening seeing that. I was very
Yeah.
disappointed.
It's like that every year.
When the,
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
I've
be
been
more-
down there before. Usually people clean up after themselves and that was
Not in my experience.
really.
No.
That's are only a few feet apart.
our Public Works sector, hey,
There's always two sides to everything. Okay, the meeting's adjourned.
Timmy saved the 4th of July, by the way. The meeting's over, this isn't, but Timmy saved it. He actually had the right certifications to drive the fireworks. The hazmat certificate to drive the fireworks up and down the coast.
Thank God for.
For Bandon, Brookings.